Howdy, 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 howdy. Hello. See if I can get that where you guys can see it. That says Crown Planet Junior number 63. 65. Sorry, 65. What I've been able to figure out thus far is that this is Japanese. I don't have any reliable means to date it, but looking at the style and everything, I'm going to give it a guess as being solidly in the 50s. The offset handle here was kind of a thing in the 50s. But anyway, it's all metal construction, nice and solid. And we're going to open it together. This is the first time I've been in there. Oh, God, that looks nasty. That looks nasty. Alright, let's see here. We're going to get a different tool for that. Hang on just a second. Okay. I'm back. And that happens to be an 11:30 seconds there on the top. Let's see if we can get it off with this. Oh, it moved. And of course, as always, I'm going to lay out my parts in the exact order in which I took them off because it makes it easier to put it back together. Hey, the dead cockroaches are free. So gross. So gross. Well, at least they're dead. Right? You. Another one. Dead bugs everywhere. Now the rod that this thing came with is just absolutely deplorable condition. I'm going to do a whole set of videos on it because I need to reattach all the eyes. It's in a bad way. But the reel I can do independently, which is what I'm doing. I do like the all-metal gearing. Alright. C-clamp. Now, secret trick of the trade for you. It's not a secret because I'm going to tell you. Over the years of taking these things apart and putting them back together and taking them back apart, I have lost countless numbers of C-clamps. So if you cover them with a cloth like I just did, when you pop them out, they don't go anywhere. Yeah, word to the wise there. So there's my C-clamp. And then that should have released the reel. It was some of the grossest line I've ever seen. But there's this yeah. That washer seems to be stopping it from popping off. I'm going to take a minute and investigate this. I'll be back. This washer seems to be preventing the reel from coming off, but I don't see how you get that off. I'll be back. As usual, I was making it harder than it needed to be. Basically, I pulled up on it real hard and yeah. You know, I can also say I've never seen a drag mechanism like that. That's pretty interesting. We'll look at that here in a minute, but first we're going to take a look at this. You know, this is the second Japanese reel that I picked up this week that was loaded with yellow line. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if that's a Japanese thing or if just whoever had these before liked yellow fishing line. That might be worth a couple minutes of research. So I'm going to take the line off. Once I'm done with that, I'll be back and we'll look at the drag. Alright, got all the line off of it. Now let's take a look at this drag. Now it seems to function like any other drag. You tighten or loosen this and it raises and lowers this little plate. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen a square one. I didn't necessarily want to take it out, but if I have to clean it, I will. Let's do this over the table just in case it wants to flop out and disappear. Yep, we're not going to take it out. The retaining washer there is paper thin, and I don't feel like messing with having to unbend it and all that crap. So we're going to put it back together. Perfect. Just like that. Now it looks like to my eyes, to get to the actual mechanism, it's a screw. There's one screw. That's a long screw. That's going to be fun to get back in if I don't line everything back up perfectly. Now, I learned the hard way with a reel earlier this week. Of course, I already know it, but sometimes life gives you little reminders. That's a short one. Alright, in case I need to reference this again later, the screw closest towards the saddle was the short one. Interesting. So how do I get that panel off now? I certainly don't want you to pry it off, but there seems to be a spot right there for just that thing to pry it off. But to what end? Yeah, I'm going to play with it. I'll be back. Alright, well, what I discovered is that these screws that I took out aren't actually for taking off the side plate. They hold in the button. Once the screws are out and you pull the button out, it gives you access to the mechanism from the front. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that there's no lubrication down there since there's no lube anywhere else. And we're going to lube the crap out of it. Lube is such a fun word. I like to say the word lube. So we're going to put that in there. Push it in there real good. Push it. Push it real good. Alright. Gallons of lube. I say this basically in every video, but I use the petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever you want to call it. A couple reasons. Most important of which is because it's cheap and I have it. And secondly, it's not water soluble. So you can get it as wet as you want. It's not going to wash it away. I really do think that you should be able to get into the side of it from there, but it doesn't seem capable of doing that. Not without, you know, beating it. And it's had enough. I can't beat it. Alright, so now that I know that that holds the button in, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put the button back in. And it seems like the long one actually goes into this hole on the button, and the short one goes down at the far end of it to stop the button from going too far. But I'll be honest with you, I don't have a clue how it goes back in. Hope I didn't break it. Okay, it goes like that. So now let's see if I can't line this up. Well, that's tough to do if you can't see. I can't see that screw hole. Oh, I think I hit it. Did I hit the screw hole? I think I did. I think I hit it. We're going to go ahead and try to tighten that because it seemed to have done something. I got it. I should go play around the golf now. I just hit a hole I couldn't see. Perfect. And then, like I was saying, that mechanism for the button, seems to go along here inside, and I think that this back screw here is what stops it on the other end, if I had to wager. So anyway, we will put her back together. And not drop and lose my screws. I've got a screw loose. I've got a screw loose. Screw loose. Alright. So we have lubricated the crap out of the guts. I think that's all it needed. A little bit of cleaning, a little bit of love, and some lube. And it seems to be right as rain. Now, of course, I'm going to continue cleaning it and making it pretty and all that, because that's what I do. Let's clean off all the guts and gears and stuff. Okay. And because I laid my parts out in the exact order in which I took them off, putting them back on should be a piece of cake. You know, one of these days I'm actually going to clean all the sawdust off my table so that I don't keep putting fishing reel parts into sawdust. Drag works. And then this washer, which I'm going to wipe off because I can. Little teeny tiny bit of lube on the bottom side of it, basically just to stick it in place. It's an old mechanic trick right there. Alright, and then that goes around this outside ring. Boop, 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 be-doop, boop, boop, boop. Like that. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Our next piece is the infamous C-clamp. It's my least favorite part of putting a reel back together, is getting the C-clamp in there. Now, just like when I take them off, I cover them when I put them back on, just in case I pop it and it goes flying. It's going to land in the cloth, and I don't have to crawl around looking for it. You heard it click. Well, I heard it click. I don't know if you guys heard it click. Let me know if you heard that click. I'm not psychic. I don't know what you heard. Fantastic. Oh, that looks so much better already. Look how pretty. Look how pretty and shiny and happy that looks. It's going to be a fun one to use. I dig it. Now that needs lube. Before I do that, this little mechanism here, and you'll see this inside a lot of reel caps, when you push the button, it lifts this part up. This little spring-loaded gizmo slides over to hold the top of the reel up. This is shaped in such a way in here that when you turn the spool, it and clicks back down. But sometimes they get crud in them, like this one has crud in it, that impedes that movement. So we're going to just slap-a-dappa, slap-a-dappa. And you don't have to go crazy, just enough to make it move smoothly. So something like that. We'll clean that off. And this goes on. It goes on and on and on and on. But only goes on one way because it is D-shaped. It's got a flat spot on that there bolt, so you can't screw that up no matter how much you try. Oh, that went on so much easier than it came off. Well, that's a little reel. That's a tiny reel. The line that was on there, this yellow crap, I'm going to cut off a piece of that. This yellow crap that came off of it is actually kind of heavy, surprisingly heavy. It feels, you know, in the neighborhood of a 10-pound test maybe. I've got some 8 to put on it. There's no indication on the reel anywhere of what it should actually take, so I'm doing it by guessing. It's going to be so much fun to use. Now I've got another old rod laying around here somewhere, I'm sure, that I could put this on so that I can go use it while I wait to restore. That mechanism works perfectly. Alright, so 8-pound. Yeah, this crap. Basic 8-pound mono. It's a Japanese reel, and I'm going to put Matsuo, which I think is a Japanese company, on it. It seems kind of fitting. But yeah, that feels honestly about the same size as what I took off. This is the most important step when you're putting a new line on a reel. Boy, that shined up real good. No idea how many times I've missed that very important step right there. Basic loop knot. Badoop, perfection, loop complete. Trim the axis and let's see if I can figure out which way this goes. Okay. So it will need to catch going that direction. You know, one of these days when I'm doing this, I'm actually going to slow down and show you what I'm doing. Not today, since I've already done it. Actually, sure, why not? Yeah, that's right. I just tested it to make sure I had this loop on the right way. You don't want to put the reel all back together, then have to take it apart because it's wrong. But basically, I tie that loop, then I feed the line back through the loop to make a big circle. You put that on over your reel, and then you move it both directions to see if it catches. This way it just keeps pulling and pulling, which is what we want. We want it to catch going this way, which it does. So that's perfect. First try. You got a 50-50 shot of getting it right your first try. It does become predictable if you do it a lot. Sweet. Okay. Now, does it click? I don't think it clicks. Okay. We're going to put the box of line inside of another box. There's stuff that I used up earlier. Throw the box on the ground. Place a generously sized foot on the box, and then you reel till it's full. This is the boring bit. I'll save you this part. I'll pause here and I'll come back when it's done. This little thing holds a lot of line. Reels are nice and smooth though. And I love that they have the little window where I can see in there and see how much line I've got on it. And with that, she's full. So I'm going to perfection knot that. And I'm going to show you the rod just to show you what I'm getting into with it. While I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at it, I mentioned that the reel has what they call an offset handle, and basically what that means is one side's longer than the other. And the purpose behind that, the thought process behind that, is, you know, universal, it'll fit everybody's hands, but the longer handle supposedly gives you more torque for larger fish. I don't know if there's, you know, any way I can test that or not. I prefer the longer handle just because I got huge hands. And I'm pretty sure that currently this is the only one I've got that has that. But didn't that clean up real pretty? And I really like this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use it. I use them all. Oh, that's a scratch. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm real happy with the way that shined up. That's real pretty. Other than being made in Japan, I really don't know much about it. Like I said, what I was able to find on ye old Google machine is that this was a popular style in the 50s, and they showed lots of pictures, and one of them looked like this. So that's a 1950s reel as far as I'm concerned. So let's take a look at the rod. The rod is in really poor shape. When I first got it, it had tape wrapped up around the handle, and like an idiot, I took the tape off. And when I took the tape off, from, let me find the line, from there down, fell off. Now I should have videoed that because I know how to fix that, which is basically wood glue, copious amounts of wood glue, and then sticking it in a vise, and that'll hold. I'm going to clean it up. But the biggest problem with the rod, of course there's no maker's marks, I don't know who made it and anything like that, is that not a single eye, not one of them, is on right. They're held on with electric tape. Every single one. Even the tip is not on properly. And it's been a while since I've serviced a rod, and because I need practice, I had a broken rod. And I decided, you know, hey, I'm going to need the practice. I need to learn how to do this again. I put it back together the way I know how. And when I heated up the heat shrink tubing, I think I melted the epoxy. I haven't actually no idea what I did wrong. But this will be useless for fishing. Yep. So Ash, can you go? But anyway, I've bored you guys enough for today. Well, like I said, we'll do a whole set of videos on the rod itself, cleaning it and reattaching the eyes once I learn how to do it again. That's it for today. Bye. Thanks.